Hello, everybody. I just want to help you out with your note card slides by talking about how to form those parenthetical references. Okay, so this is what your note card slide looks like. When you begin, you will be making 10 of these for Thursday. And basically, this is just like a physical note card. You'll be putting a subtopic at the top, which labels that note card according to the subject. So you might want to look at your outline to give you ideas for what those labels might be. For me, I might have a note card about the origins of Cirque du Soleil, or the performers in Cirque du Soleil, or the number of injuries. And I would just write that subtopic right up here so I can label my note card. That makes it much easier to organize your note cards later when you're moving them around. Right here, you will type your quote or your paraphrase. So all of my information from my source would go on this part of the note card. And then down here, I have my parenthetical. Your parenthetical references the direct source from your works cited list where you got that information. So we need to talk about how to form those parentheticals. Now, if you have questions about parentheticals, because maybe you have a source that doesn't really fit into the typical author page number format, the Purdue OWL site is the best place to find information for how to do this. It's the reference that I use when I have a question, and it is just sort of the guru for for doing this. So Purdue OWL, I've got it linked on your Google Classroom site, and if you go down here, you can find MLA in-text citations. That will teach you how to do your parentheticals. And if you look down here, it has all kinds of information about what to do for different types of sources. For example, if you have a corporate author, or if you have no author, or if you have multiple editions, and you can see two authors with the same last name. This website will really answer all of those questions if you run into difficulty with your parentheticals. But let me just show you the basics of how it works. The purpose of a parenthetical is to direct your reader to the corresponding source in your works cited. So typically, your parenthetical will be whatever's listed first in your works cited list. So you can see here, this is one of my sources by a Zachary Wittenberg. Now my parenthetical would just say Wittenberg, the last name only, like that, and my period would go on the outside of the parentheses. Okay, so that would direct my reader directly to that author, and they could find what source that was. I will not have page numbers in that reference because this is an online source that does not have page numbers. So it would just be Wittenberg in the parentheses. Now, if I go up here, this one is going to be Solway. So just the last name, and the period goes on the outside. So those are pretty easy. Let me show you some that get a little bit more complicated. This source says et al., which means there actually were several authors of this particular source. And so the way that I do my parenthetical for that one is I do Ghazawi et al., and I do not need the first name or middle initial or any of those commas or anything. I do keep the period on the AL, but I also have my period on the outside of the parentheses. And that Al Purdue site will explain all of this if you have questions about the et al. Sources. Now, if I have a source where there is no author, then I will just reference my reader to the article title. So this one would be A Bug's Life. I would get rid of that period. So imagine I'm crossing that off, and the period goes out here. Okay, so that's how I form my parentheticals. And you will do the same with your works cited list. So you'll use your works cited to figure out what to put in the parenthetical reference as you are taking your notes. And like I said, if you have any questions at all, this Al Purdue source is the best. And they will tell you everything you need to know. All right, good luck.